What is this?
Every dinosaur featured in the Dino Crisis franchise explored. In 1993, when director Steven Spielberg released the film Jurassic Park, people fell in love with these gigantic ancient reptiles which roamed our lands millions of years ago. Kids everywhere, including me, started to obsess about the scenario of humans versus dinosaurs. Meanwhile, video games started including dinosaurs in the same way, with a few of the most remembered titles being Tomb Raider for the PSX, Jurassic Park Rampage Edition for the Sega Genesis, and Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues for the SNES, all of which were played and adored. But the king of all these games was Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis followed the enormously popular Resident Evil 2 and was made by the identical team as the Resident Evil series, with the great Shinji Mikami directing it. For those unfamiliar with the original game, the game's premise is to stay alive and escape while a horde of dinosaurs tries to eat you up. What kind of dinosaurs, you ask? Well, you have come to the right place. It's time to learn about every dinosaur from the Dino Crisis franchise. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Sebel Ray. Starting the list is Sebel Ray from Dino Crisis 3. It is the title coined for the last stage of the transformation of the Gigantosaurus subspecies genetically produced aboard Ozymandias, the colony ship, among which Rigel was the larval stage. When the crew of Ozymandias started succumbing to radiation illness during their journey to planet A2, Captain Satoko Evans directed the ship's AI Mother 248 to clone the members' crew so that their colonization operation wouldn't go in vain. But when the vessel got overwhelmed with radiation, Mother failed to generate viable clones and instead began splicing in genetic materials from animal laboratory specimens that were proven to be more radiation immune. As a result, Mother began developing bioengineered life forms, which would prosper aboard the ship. This demonstrated their ability to alter the human clones further to endure a range of difficult situations. Sebel Ray is the most extraordinary life form and could live in an inert atmosphere and even develop new organs to suit its situation and survival better. Although it nearly killed Soar Soldier Patrick Tyler in the deck sector, the beast first appeared properly in the center duct interior when it stunned Sonia Hart, Tyler, and a Karen android. Soon, the Karen android tried to eliminate Sebel Ray during the conflict by coaxing it to unsteady flooring. The beast, however, was able to escape the vessel and ambush a shuttle leaving the Ozymandias. During this battle, the beast sprouted a third head in the center of the original two, rendering several of Tyler's firearms unstable. Despite this, the final Wasp ultimately defeated it and sent it dawdling in Earth's orbit.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Tyrannosaurus. Next on our list is everyone's favorite T-Rex. The very first documented human T-Rex encounter occurred during the Third Energy Incident, as demonstrated in Dino Crisis 1, when the Third Energy Experiment induced a time-space transfer, sending a handful of ancient species, including one T-Rex, to Ibis Island in the 21st century. This Tyrannosaurus murdered and consumed several individuals, including Cooper, a member of the SORT team dispatched to investigate the island. It became apparent that this particular T-Rex grew into a compulsive entity, relentlessly searching for Regina, regardless of how many dinosaurs it ate. Its persistent hunt for Regina led to it damaging the crew's evacuation chopper by assaulting it mid-air and forcing the squad underground. When it got to the lower floor, it re-encountered Regina, but this time it got knocked out after accidentally wrecking an electrical generator. Ultimately, the agents killed it in the next day as they fled the island, allowing the dinosaurs to occupy and live on it. More T-Rexes are observed in the sequels, but more on them later. The T-Rexes met in the game are represented as mean-spirited and unforgiving, with nearly human-like levels of intelligence and a really nasty streak lurking beneath their instinctive drive to consume and exist. They additionally tend to play with their victims before dining on them. They are susceptible to harboring grudges and animosity toward those who have proven relentless enough to act as a pain in their bums. Just run and hide when you see a T-Rex in this or any game. Jet Black Tyrannosaurus. The Jet Black T-Rex is a massive Tyrannosaurus first appearing in Dino Stalkers Level 5. It also functions as the last boss of the game, as Lieutenant Mike Wired was combating two Carnotaurus in the demolished city. The Jet Black Tyrannosaurus made its presence felt for the first time. Its focus turned to the struggle, and it soon emerged, crashing through a structure and swiftly killing the red Carnotaurus. It suddenly noticed Paul and Mike and started chasing them. The Tyrannosaur pursued them through the empty city, but they successfully fled when Mike instructed Paula to pace their vehicle. Later, the Tyrannosaurus returned to the volcano's peak, functioning as a gatekeeper to the mother computer, serving the final line of defense before the tragedy. It leaped from a high cliff to attack Mike and Paula. Mike went up against the fierce Tyrannosaur, with the arena being the volcano's interior. At a specific time during the conflict, the volcano started to erupt, flooding the battlefield with extra larvae. The earth underneath it collapsed, and the giant dino descended into the deep molten pool, where it perished. This Tyrannosaurus was easily the biggest of the three seen in the franchise. The radioactivity from the neighboring volcano had rendered its skin black. It possessed 40% greater resilience than the usual Tyrannosaurus encountered in Dino Crisis 1 and 2. Therizinosaurus. Therizinosaurus is a dinosaur that appeared exclusively in the first Dino Crisis game. It is a highly advanced raptor that can be found in big passages where raptors are more regularly seen. They hunt in groups and are pretty robust. Therizinosaurus has enormous and sharp claws and teeth, a tiny snout, and a sturdy body, allowing it to withstand most of Regina's weaponry. It has mandibles that may be used to pick up Regina and toss her away. Its razor-sharp talons may diminish Regina's health to a great extent, and on rare occasions, the Therizinosaurus can even unleash an instant kill strike. So if you encounter one, it is best to flee. It should be noted, however, that Therizinosaurus can also pursue Regina into other rooms if she flees from them. Yikes!
What is this?
Australis. The Australises were produced when Captain Sotoko Evans instructed the ship's computer, Mother 248, to clone the ship's crewmates while they were dying of radiation disease, just like how Sebel Ray was created. They were formed from Tyrannosaurus DNA that had been stored, and then were tweaked to have electricity-generating organs along with the ability to survive in vacuum environments. While their stature and power made them intimidating animals, the Australis prototype and its replicas had underdeveloped skins that exposed their muscles, which was discovered to be the principal cause for their inability to exist in a vacuum. Despite the experiment's failure, the Australises were permitted to prosper on the Ozymandias until the year 2548, when they went extinct. Pteranodon. Pteranodon is an ancient winged species that appears in the franchise's first two games. They were presumably exaggerated in their affinity to violence, given that they were mostly fish eaters in reality. The Pteranodons were transported to the future Earth to avert the cosmic disaster caused by the Third Energy Rundown experiment. As time passed, the animals became antagonistic to humans, even indulging in territorial wars with them. Pteranodons are found in 3 regions of the Ibis Island Research Facility and Dino Crisis 1, all of which are in an external setting. It's better to run past them, since shooting at them with your close-range weapons will do you no good apart from wasting ammunition. They will swoop down and can either knock Regina out or lift her up with their massive talons. The Pteranodons in Dino Crisis 2 are identical to those from the original game, but many more exist. You can expect them to swarm throughout the Third Energy Facility's shoreline area and wherever a large animal has fallen. Velociraptor. Next up is my personal favorite dinosaur, the Velociraptor. Velociraptors are tiny yet agile carnivores. The sickle-shaped claw on the Velociraptor's foot is its most distinguishing trait. They also have strong limbs, a pointy snout, and long, stable tails that allow them to change directions quickly when moving. Velociraptors hunt in packs due to their tiny stature. Their conduct is unpredictable, as they rush victims with no particular strategy other than their numerical strength. They are some of the most frequent dinosaurs dinosaurs you will encounter in both games. They frequently ambush Regina through doors and windows. Regina is commonly alerted of their existence by their growling and the scratching of their claws against the floor before she notices them. They appear in an array of shades, with some being more immune to weapons and doing more damage when they strike. They appear in pairs in the game's middle stages, which makes them more threatening. If Regina tries to flee, they attempt to leap and pin her to the floor. To summarize, they are the basic thugs players must go through before boss fights. Brown Raptor. Brown Velociraptors are Dino Crisis 2's weakest variety and most prevalent grunt. These are the player's first opponents as they enter the jungle. Green Raptor. Green raptors are prominent foes in Dino Crisis 2. Its skin is green with brown and orange patterns. They are common, though not as common as other raptors. They are more powerful and deal more significant damage than the brown raptors, but they are inferior to the red and blue raptors. They generally have a better defense and can be taken down with at least 5 shotgun shots. In hard difficulty, however, this shifts, and you'll frequently meet them instead of brown raptors. Red Raptor. The red-colored velociraptors are a form of velociraptor seen in Dino Crisis 2. They are more powerful than the ordinary brown and green raptors and are only inferior to the blue raptors. Blue Raptor. Blue raptors are a velociraptor subspecies that are recognized for their superior power. Their characteristics are identical to a standard raptor with blue skin and black stripes, a red mark from the snout to the shoulder, bluish-gray thighs, and gray legs and arms. In Dino Crisis 2, blue raptors are just optional antagonists. To battle them, the player must execute a 20+ combination in a raptor-infested region while not receiving any damage and killing any dinosaur species in the area. The player must then proceed to the next raptor-infested region to battle these blue raptors. Blue raptors typically appear in pairs and are exceptionally tough to defeat. No matter how strong a weapon you have used against them, it will still take a considerable number of rounds before they get eliminated. Compsognathus. Compsognathus, popularly known as Compies, is the franchise's tiniest dinosaur. It usually does not hurt humans and is fixated on grabbing little flashy objects like certain birds. Measurements of Compsognathus range from 40 to 100 centimeters. They possess tiny jaws, long slender legs, and slim bodies that enable the miniature dinosaurs to squeeze through narrow openings. Compsognathus are merely a minor character in the games. They appear twice in Dino Crisis 1. If the player approaches, they will pounce on Regina and bite her. They do not deal much damage to the player, but they may be highly irritating. They can typically be killed with a single pistol round. Its single significant role in Dino Crisis 2 occurred when it stole a vital object from the player. The player had to confine it in a chamber, one of the game's most straightforward but irritating challenges. Giganotosaurus. Giganotosaurus is a carcharodontosaurid genus that thrived during the Mesozoic period. It was one of the most gigantic dinosaurs ever to exist, dwarfing other enormous theropods, even the likes of the massive Tyrannosaurus. In Dino Crisis 2, at least a single young Giganotosaurus was kidnapped as a part of the Noah's Ark project, which aimed to preserve the chronology by transferring some dinosaurs to the distant future. After the dinosaurs retreated and resettled in the jungles, the Giganotosaurus rapidly became an extremely territorial top predator capable of quickly slaughtering the more common Tyrannosaurus. All confrontations with the sequentially displaced Edward City troops caused their deaths. In the game, Sort Officer Regina saw a Giganotosaurus battle and slaughter a Tyrannosaurus just outside of the Edward City missile silo, resulting in the latter being subdued and dead despite the Giganotosaurus sustaining a powerful bite to its right leg. The Giganotosaurus decided to break into the missile silo and overturned a missile that detonated prematurely. Despite facing burns, the animal managed to live and bolted. Afterward, it broke into the habitat support facility. It was killed there by a remote laser weapon. Giganotosaurus is recognizable by its crimson skin with dark brown stripes and the presence of horns on its head. It had yellow eyes at first, but after the blast, its eyes were wounded and monochromatic white. The explosion also scorched its skin, blurring its texture and causing its face to look puffier. The Giganotosaurus is the game's strongest adversary and has no apparent vulnerability. In contrast to the Tyrannosaurus' scream, which just baffled the characters, the Giganotosaurus' roar sends everyone flying. Algol. Algol was a dinosaur species produced by genetic engineering at Ozymandias' DNA lab by its computer, Mother 248. They were developed from velociraptor DNA that had been conserved and altered to have electricity-generating organs. Algols are exceptionally swift because of their well-developed rear legs, which allow remarkable leaps. When disturbed, they can unleash shockwaves and blasts from an electricity-generating tissue on their heads. Algols are a diversified species vulnerable to mutations, and 3 subspecies have evolved aboard the ship by the year 2548. The Alphas thrive on the deck sector, which has tremendous electrical abilities, and the Gammas conceal themselves with their camouflage ability and reside in the storage and shaft sectors. Alghols are lower-level opponents who appear in the opening sequence of Dino Crisis 3. While they hunt in packs, they are quite simple to take out with light weaponry. From the warehouse sector onwards, they are replaced by the camouflaging subspecies to raise the challenge. They are no longer the main adversary after the player enters the energy sector, which will be dominated by another species known as Cornophoros. Cornophoros. The Cornophoros, just like Alghols, were made using Velociraptor DNA that was previously stored as an opposite of the human clone experiment, in which a dinosaur species was developed with primate DNA to see if it could be enhanced. They were robust, clever, and skilled with their hands. Dinosaurs with human-like attributes were developed by limiting their development to a form comparable to that of primates. Genetic modification of the dinosaur genome was achieved by using Catarrhini tribal genetics, modifying muscles and skeletal structure. As a result, this altered species hunted in packs and displayed some of the Catarrhini's traits. The Cornophoroses flourished and dominated the energy sector, replacing Alghol and Rigel. Myoplacidus. Myoplacidus was a Spinosaurus species produced by Ozymandias' computer, Mother 248, through genetic engineering in the ship's DNA laboratory in Dino Crisis 3. Just one confirmed Myoplacidus was aboard Ozymandias' by the year 2548, and he was liable for damaging the ship's cooling system and flooding the energy core area. It later went to the Mother sector, retreating before the energy sector was destroyed, and battled Patrick Tyler as a boss in the flooded Mother room. During the battle, the Myoplacidus was slain. Myoplacidus is reminiscent of Spinosaurus in appearance, having a similar type of large jaws loaded with pointy teeth, strong gripping arms, and a towering spine. The species also has massive fins encircling its head, identical to a frilled lizard. They may also release high-pressure water jets for a long-range attack. Watch out for that! Mosasaurus. Mosasaurus is a mighty water-based dinosaur in Dino Crisis 2. Mosasaurus is a variety of marine reptiles that prospered throughout the Cretaceous period. They resemble modern crocodiles in specific ways, yet Mosasaurus do not have armor-like torso akin to contemporary crocodiles. A Mosasaurus features long and powerful jaws, a lengthy tail, 4 paddle-like fins, and a streamlined body that permits it to swim quickly underwater. In the game, Mosasaurus established their homes in the underwater areas of the third energy facility. These animals were most likely sent into the future alongside the giant reptiles during the Noah's Ark program to avoid being corrupted by the third energy event that led dinosaurs and people to clash. The Mosasaurs turned unfriendly and may have dined on people if they came face to face. Regulus. Just like all the dinosaurs of Dino Crisis 3, Regulus was created due to genetic engineering by Ozymandias' computer, Mother 248, in the ship's DNA laboratory. The Regulus was formed using Ankylosaurus DNA, which was previously stored, and it was enhanced enough to build armor plating that was powerful enough to deflect bullets. In combat, it could wrap its body and strike its opponent. However, the dinosaur's fragile underbelly and sluggish pace rendered it susceptible to well-placed blows. In the year 2548, the sole documented Regulus specimen emerged from the DNA lab and assaulted SOAR member Patrick Tyler. Despite the reinforcements of Captain Jacob Ranshaw and Sonia Hart, the dinosaur remained unafraid and was hurt but not killed in an attack by Captain Ranshaw, who rammed a grenade into its mouth. The Regulus later assaulted Tyler again, and this time it was dead. Rigel. Rigel was a genetically modified species of Giganotosaurus produced by Mother 248, Ozymandias' onboard AI. As I mentioned before, the crew perished from radiation illness. Captain Sotoko Evans entrusted Mother with constructing a new crew, but owing to the radiation, the AI was compelled to splice in animal DNA from dinosaurs, which were shown to be more radiation resistant. Rigel was a member of the mutant dinosaur species breed to test potentially beneficial DNA for splicing into human dinosaur fusion embryos. Rigel was a critical component of an intricate life cycle. The species mother was an entity called the Rigel domain. Rigel, the larvae, matured into an adult sebelray. Rigel's larval body was relatively simple, missing operational legs and only 2 useless appendages. Nonetheless, the species was adept at ingesting large quantities of meat, as groups of Rigel had been known to have slain and devoured an Australis from within. Rigel lack pack instinct. While they frequently pounce in groups, this is due to the species' strong instincts driving thousands to the same target. Allosaurus. Allosaurus was a massive predatory bipedal dinosaur from the late Jurassic Age. In Dino Crisis 2, it was one of the dinosaurs removed from their period during the Noah's Ark project. But when the technologies to maintain them became faulty, the Allosaurus has escaped alongside the other dinosaurs and flourished in the surrounding territories. An Allosaurus stands around 30 to 35 feet tall, with some reaching 39 feet, which is almost as big as a giant Tyrannosaurus with a 3-foot-long skull loaded with hundreds of sharp teeth. It is a bipedal dinosaur with long, muscular legs and a robust tail. Its arms are strong yet small in comparison to its legs. It possesses 3 significant toes as well as a 4th vestigial claw. It also has a pair of spikes above the eyes that varied in size. The first time Regina met an Allosaurus was when she was seeking for a flamethrower. After leaving the volcano, Dylan and Regina faced a pair of Allosaurus again. Before advancing, they deployed mounted guns to chase off the Allosaurus. Plesiosaurus. The Plesiosaurus was a Mesozoic-era aquatic reptile that roamed throughout the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods until being resurrected due to a third energy catastrophe in Dino Crisis 2. The Noah's Ark group took the Plesiosaurus to try to repair the ecological damage caused by a temporal glitch on Ibis Island. They lived in a massive lake near Edward City's eventual appearance due to a worldly tragedy. They preyed on the third energy facility over time, settling in its submerged reactor chambers and impeding any meaningful maintenance. On their initial crossing of the lake, Dylan and Regina were ambushed by a big group of Plesiosaurus. Another Plesiosaurus emerges as the stage's boss in the sunken third energy reactor room. Oviraptor. Oviraptor is another dinosaur species acquired as part of the Noah's Ark plan in Dino Crisis 2. The Oviraptors prospered in the Noah's Ark squad's future Earth ecosystem. When the forest grew west of the lagoon to take over all of the army outposts, the Oviraptors declared the southern part of the jungle alongside the river as their stronghold, approaching and ultimately taking over the third energy facility once it was abandoned. Even though they resemble velociraptors in looks, Oviraptors are really members of the Oviraptoridae family, with crests on their skulls, toothless beaks, long grabbing arms, long legs, and tails as their principal features. The Oviraptors are well suited to living in arid regions and deserts. They exhibit sexual dimorphism and spew poison in Dino Crisis 2. They are one of the significant enemy grunts in the game. Triceratops. Every dino fan is aware of Triceratops. These large herbivore dinosaurs roamed the Earth in the late Cretaceous period. Countless Triceratopses were abducted in the Noah's Ark plan and sent 3 million years in the future to forestall a chronology anomaly that would have wiped out civilization. The Triceratopses escaped confinement in a tragedy that killed all Noah's Ark crew members and became feral. These dinosaurs expanded along both sides of the lake but initially avoided residential areas. The herd, however, inflicted incredible damage to Edward City in their quest for retribution against soldiers who had threatened them due to their fiercely protective temperament and perfect memory. A few months later, multiple Triceratops threatened the city's borders in a potential unlinked attack. One was shot on the haulage path from the seaport to the cities by soldiers who fired poison-tipped shots. As Dylan and Regina arrived at the new military installation near the city, they learned that yet another Triceratops had gone rogue and slaughtered all humans and velociraptors in the vicinity in vengeance for the loss of an infant Triceratops. A jeep pursued them into the forest as the herd grew conscious of the two's existence. A mature Triceratops may reach up to 9 tons. Throughout the mating season, the Triceratops will employ its horns to ward off enemies and to battle with its competitor. Despite its diminutive stature and hefty legs, the Triceratops can sprint reasonably fast, as demonstrated in Dino Crisis 2. Inostrancevia. Inostrancevia is a gorgonopsid genus, which is a carnivorous group of mammal-like reptiles. The Noah's Ark project members captured these individuals in Dino Crisis 2. The third energy facility researchers had noticed these quadrupedal animals, initially considered herbivores. However, it quickly became evident that they were carnivores, with the jaw force severe enough to demolish a helmet. The dinosaurs have been shown to prosper in hot environments. The Inostrancevia initially appeared in the middle of Dino Crisis 2 in the volcano, returning later in the missile silo. These predators possess big, powerful jaws with enormous teeth at the front that they use to deliver severe harm to the player. Inostrancevia also have body armor-like scales encompassing most of their body, rendering them highly resistant against fire weapons but not invincible. Kronosaurus. Kronosaurus is a species of aquatic dinosaur in Dino Stalker. It substitutes the Mosasaurus from Dino Crisis 2. They are one of 2 sea monsters players will encounter, the other being Plesiosaurus. Carnotaurus. The sizable predatory dinosaur known as Carnotaurus was transported to the New Earth in the future by Noah's Ark Plan crew in the game Dino Stalker. After being briefly assaulted by a mob of velociraptors deployed by Trinity, Mike Wired came upon a pair of Carnotaurus. They later encountered the third energy phenomenon and were transported into the hyperspace temporal vortex, where they faced Mike again. In the abandoned city, the Carnotaurus were engaged for the third and final time. They chose to leave during the encounter as they sensed a larger predator moving in. This larger predator was the jet black T-Rex, who devoured one of the Carnotaurus while the other escaped, presumably. The dinosaur is much smaller than a Tyrannosaurus, but nearly the same size as an Allosaurus, except for its characteristic bull-like horns from which he gets his name, Taurus, get it? And exceptionally small arms, which are even shorter than those of Tyrannosaurus. Carnotaurus are designed similarly to other carnivorous dinosaurs. Carnotaurus is huge, yet it boasts solid and long legs and a fluid physique, allowing for quick agility. Fun fact, Carnotaurus was substituted for Allosaurus from Dino Crisis 2 because it was simpler to animate. Trinity. Trinity was a white Truden produced by the mother computer to serve as the dinosaur's acting leader before the execution of Noah's Ark Plan in Dino Stalker. Truden are highly intelligent dinosaurs. It runs with enormous extendable sickle-shaped claws on its second toes elevated above the ground. Trinity's main objective was to destroy anyone and everyone who stood in its way and save the dinosaurs' lives. But when Trinity learned that humans were a significant threat to the dinosaurs, it revolted against them by directing an assault on them, murdering almost everyone involved in the Noah's Ark Plan. Colonel Dylan Morton saved and hid numerous wounded youngsters, including his daughter Paula, within the Noah's Ark complex. Trinity subsequently met Lieutenant Mike Wired during its hunt for Paula, and it ordered numerous velociraptors to attack, but the battlefield attracted the interest of the Carnotaurus, forcing it to flee. Trinity appeared in the city, commanding the dinosaurs to kill Mike and Paula. Trinity and numerous velociraptors ambushed Mike just before he met the hologram of Dylan Morton. Despite the fierce struggle, Trinity was ultimately beaten. Utah Raptor. Utah Raptor is a genus of gigantic dromaeosaurid dinosaurs that existed during the early Cretaceous era in North America's Utah area. It means they belong to the same family of velociraptors, except that they are much bigger, faster, and of course stronger. They can only be found in the levels Pitch Black Tyrannosaurus and Trinity in Dino Crisis. Nevertheless, depending on the difficulty setting, such as regular or hard, they might be encountered on level 2 well before the Carnotaurus boss encounter and require more ammo to defeat than the yellow and green ones. They may also be an improved version of the raptor that was featured in Dino Crisis 2. The green is a velociraptor, the yellow is a Deinonychus, and the red is a Utah Raptor. Marvelous verdict. That brings us to the end of the video. If you like survival horror games or dinosaurs, then Dino Crisis is the exact game you need. Nothing beats being pursued by a raptor or T-Rex while rushing towards the camera, only to have the camera backtrack at the same rate as you, displaying the dino getting closer with each step. It's an experience you wouldn't want to miss. Which dinosaur from this list gives you the heebie-jeebies? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, click the like button and share this video with all your friends. I'll see you in the next one.